What convinced you to return to this subgenre with Ford versus Ferrari?
Well, I don't think it's a genre. Like I think it's just movies. Almost all the stories, almost all the stories you ever could tell would be. Most writers, speaking as a writer myself, base their stories on something. So everything comes from truth. The reality for me is, the genre is more of the sports movie, I guess, if you're saying what this belongs to. But it's kind of a really unusual shape. I think audiences, the marketing of the movie pushes the racing aspect pretty hard, but the reality is that it's also a pretty beefy drama, and in a way, more of a drama, building toward a monstrous set piece of action at the end of the picture. I always said to my crew, it was a little like a Saving Private Ryan in reverse, and that we're kind of building the efforts to get this car in shape and get it to the race. It takes up the first 90 minutes of the movie, and then the final act of the movie is nothing but race. And as I was saying, Le Mans is a 24-hour race, so it's a unique kind of race to have to stage on a film, because at least I wanted to somehow impart to the audience the sense that it's such a profound endurance test. It's like when someone says 24 hours, it sounds like a day, but what it really is a day and all night, and then that morning, and then that all day again. So and that's a lot of driving, and that's a hell of a lot of taxation on one car. A lot of cars start the Le Mans still, and very few cars finish. It's not because they're way behind, but because the cars just can't handle that kind of endurance test.
And technically, how on earth did you recreate the 24-hour of Le Mans?
Well, in period, meaning in 1966, we couldn't shoot it in Le Mans because it looks nothing like it used to look. And I really, the kind of charm, not unlike the Mill Valley Film Festival, of this little town, this Sleepy Hollow, where the entire world descends for 1 week. And the Le Mans track at that point was just 8 miles of country road that were connected together by a series of sharp turns like you'd make at an intersection in a town. And so we did an absolute recreation of that track. We went hunting all over, found locations in every case that matched the Le Mans Straight, the Dunlop Bridge, the S's, the White House Corner, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these famous landmarks in the race, and you'll see them all or feel them all. What was amazing is none of these locations were at the same place as another, including the grandstand and the starting line of Le Mans, which we built as a giant set in Southern California. So all our country road locations were in Atlanta and even in Georgia, more specifically, and in all around the state of Georgia. And our every time the cars pass for a lap past the grandstand, they're passing through a set in California. So every single lap in the film becomes an intercut of scenes shot in Le Mans, France, in Georgia, and 4,000 miles back west in Southern California. You can imagine the continuity. You need to keep all these cars in the same positions. Even dirt level on the cars has to be matched, from dirt level 0 to dirt level 5. We had all these systems, and it was a hellacious task, but the magic of cinema is when you cut all these things together, it becomes one continuous loop for the audience.
And so I love that you call this film a reverse Saving Private Ryan. What's the greater challenge? Is it working with the budget you're given to make the movie you want, or is it giving every character within the story, major or minor, their due arc?
Well, I think it's kind of my duty to make, I don't know about due arc, but I think that I want an audience to feel when they watch one of my films, no matter what the genre, that you could follow any character in the film away from the leading characters, and you'd enter their world, that their world is as specific, the actors we get are as good as the leads, meaning that the world is rich. To me, that's like, it's not that different making fantasy films and realistic movies, true life movies versus fictional dramas, in the sense that my job is essentially the same, which is I have to make it real for you. I have to make it feel real for you. And what that means is somehow feeling like, when you look over the shoulder of the characters you're following, the people you meet for a moment. The guy playing you, if I were the star of the movie, has to be as good as me playing me, or else the reality drops. And that's a lot of where the challenges become, especially when you have a cast as good as Matt Damon and Christian Bale. You don't even have to worry about them that much. For me, most of the worry is kind of bringing up the level of what's around them so that it meets them on an equal footing.
Real quick, last question. Do you still have an interest in writing, directing a solo X-23 film?
Yes. Well, do I have an interest? Yes. Will it happen? I have, at least in the near future, I doubt it.
Right on. Well, James, I really appreciate your time, and congratulations on
Thanks so
another
much.
magnificent film.
Appreciate it, Alex. Take care.